Hi folks, Eddie Current here, not in character as evidenced by the hat and the shirt. I want to thank you for letting me get some things off my chest this week about 9/11. I've been fascinated by the 9/11 truth movement for a number of years, and I think that's because I used to be a truther. I'm dead serious about this. It didn't last for long, but for a brief while, I was totally into that shit. I read all of the websites. I looked at all of the evidence. I watched all of the videos. In fact, this particular video convinced me that 7 World Trade Center was brought down in a secret controlled demolition. But then I started asking myself a few questions. For example, how did this busy office building get rigged with demolition charges without anybody noticing? And then, how did the demolition charges survive 7 hours of uncontrolled office fires on 9/11, only to be set off in perfect synchronization, which apparently is the only condition under which the truthers can imagine the building falling in the manner that it did? Well, it wasn't long before I realized that this was all bullshit. I mean, complete, total weapons grade bullshit. We're talking prosperity gospel level bullshit here. I mean, the mere fact that conspiracy websites almost never show you the 8 seconds of slow, catastrophic, asymmetrical internal progressive collapse, which is plainly observable in the full-length CBS video if you just watch it. No, instead they show you this video and they say that it was a perfectly synchronized and symmetrical collapse, which should give you some idea of where they're coming from. But anyway, since then, I've been asking myself, what was I thinking during that brief delusion that I was suffering? And I'll tell you what I was thinking. I was probably thinking something like, I find it very hard to believe that a building would fall that way completely on its own. That's the kind of thing that people say. But then I realized, the fact that I am personally astonished by what happened, given my extensive professional experience with 47-story towers collapsing, does not actually have any bearing on the reality of the event itself. It's like an awful lot of people find it hard to believe that we evolved from fishes. And quite frankly, in our little human heads, that is hard to imagine. But that personal astonishment does not change the fact that biological evolution happens. And no, I'm not going to say checkmate. But I realize that anytime we say that we cannot imagine something happening, well, the only thing that demonstrates is our own small-mindedness, our inability to see beyond our own little sphere of human-scale existence. It's like, oh, it doesn't seem right to my horse sense. Maybe if we're talking about huge skyscrapers falling out of the sky, horse sense is horse shit. The truther arguments, they don't even qualify as intellectual dishonesty. They're more like hanging out in the parking lot at Hooters dishonesty. It's like, they didn't test for explosives. What about that? Yeah, well, they also didn't test for termites. But that doesn't prove that they should have called Terminix. But it seems that that's all the truthers have. What about this? What about that? What about Larry Silverstein? What about the fireproofing? What about NORAD? And then, of course, NIST admits freefall. What about that? It's like being on an airplane and the guy next to you goes, I find it very hard to believe that this plane just took off all by itself. I mean, what about the weight of the luggage? What about the wind resistance and the air outside? What about the wings being so short? And they're level. The wings don't even go up like this. Haven't you ever put your hand out a car window? What about the cockpit being sealed shut? What are they hiding up there? Why haven't they released the flight recorder? Oh, captain admits autopilot. There you go. Anyway. Thanks very much. Bye.